tell me more. Then as we got into deciding whether or not we were going to run for president again, he asked you to join the team. What happened?
So in 2020, I still was not technically part of the team again. I did like an outside thing. So I did a lot of like media commentary stuff. And then I ran a super PAC. I was focused on Jewish issues. I was focused on Israel. Like I wanted to do my own thing.
Yeah.
But it was about that relationship and me clearly telling everyone I thought Donald Trump was the best person for the job to protect Jewish lives and for the relationship with Israel. So I ran that PAC. And then after 2020, after the hell that was the last few years, we immediately after 2020 moved to Florida because the president and his team had told us that he was running again.
Mm-hmm.
And
before anybody officially knew?
Yes. I mean, anyone that had studied Donald Trump would know that he was running again. So I was surprised people didn't believe me. But yeah, so it was a really, really crazy few years because everybody was getting investigated for everything. And they were not just going after Donald Trump, but after everyone who worked for him. So it was a very hard few years. But
did they ever come after you and your husband?
They did quite a bit.
In what way?
Just trying. I mean, the goal was obviously to blackmail and scare anyone who worked with Donald Trump into not working for him anymore, or like flipping and giving them some kind of information, I guess. Yeah. Or from going bankrupt with legal fees that they just couldn't work for him anymore.
Right. Well, so from an insider scoop position on that, like, were you shocked that they were going after even people like you at that level? Were you like, oh, I get it, because we all have something to hide? Like, what, did you guys really know anything? Like,
literally nothing. Like, that's why I think I support Donald Trump as strongly as I do. Like, it's almost selfish. It's because I have experienced a teeny tiny piece of what he has. Right. And so for me, it's like, if they're going after like my husband, clearly they actually have nothing, and Donald Trump never committed any crimes because they're literally at the bottom of the barrel with my husband, who's the most innocent person in the world and knows nothing about anything.
Did you have to say to your husband, do you know something that I don't know? This is crazy.
No, I knew exactly what was going on. And we had friends that were like spending all their money on legal fees and like in a really, really rough spot. I was just scared. Like we had a lot of fights of like, do we stay on? Like, what do we do? But it was Donald Trump or nothing for us. It is always Donald Trump or nothing for us now. But no, we stayed on. And then after the leadership change at the Republican Party, I was asked to come in and be the spokesperson for the party, which is the craziest thing ever.
That's the craziest thing. Were you just like, wait, what?
I mean, it made sense. I mean, I'd been around for 8 years. I'd been super loyal, and I'd been doing TV for a good amount of time. So, like, it wasn't like I wasn't qualified, but it was still like, holy crap, like, that's a big deal.
You were doing TV in terms of the Jewish issues and
political at that point too, but yeah, just like media commentary stuff on like Fox and the major channels. Felt comfortable on TV, but knew that I was going to be one of the faces of this movement, and if it failed, like, it's not going to look very good. But
so explain what that new job was.
Yeah, so I was the national spokesperson for the Republican National Committee. So just screaming and getting screamed at every day on TV.
But explain, like, a day in the life. Like, what does that officially mean? You are the spokesperson. You have to answer questions about what the Republican team is doing.
Yeah, so imagine like 10 radio interviews and like 5 TV interviews every single day for like the last year of the campaign.
Wow.
Commenting on anything Donald Trump may have said or anything Democrats may have said or like the state of the race that day.
Did you feel like you had to... Listen, as a young girl who has no political background, did you feel like you had to like research stuff, or like you really knew this stuff and you knew Donald Trump well enough that you could answer these questions without someone sitting there and schooling you on how to do it?
Yeah, I mean, it's a combination of things. You obviously study because you represent a major entity and you don't want to mess up. But I don't know if there's a lot of people that can say at that point they had been on his first campaign, ran a super PAC during the second campaign, and had done media commentary work for 10 years, had a degree in government and a master's. Like, I really was prepared. I just didn't realize in the moment that I was prepared.
It's like, I always say this, it's like Karate Kid, wax on, wax off. You're learning all sorts of skills and knowledge, and all of a sudden it comes together and you're like, oh shit, I know this.
Right. Not a lot of people had as much experience as I did in Trump world or in media. So it actually worked out. But no, it's very scary. And then there's days that are scarier than others. Like when, people decide to go after him and he served a lawsuit, or the mugshot day, or when he's shot in the head. Like there's ups and downs.
Where were you that day? He was the assassination attempt.
I was in Brooklyn, actually, with my husband. And so he was the digital director for the campaign. So like under him was the people that like live stream the rallies. So like even though we weren't watching every single rally because we were working or doing other things, like he was always keeping tabs on it. So he starts getting like 30 messages in, a split second. And he's thinking, oh, the live stream went down, which, happens all the time. Mm-hmm. And then I'm looking at my messages and it's like, is he dead? Is he dead? And I'm like, what in the world is, like, what's happening? We turn it on and all we see is Donald Trump on the ground.
Right.
It was probably 20 seconds, felt like an hour of like, what the hell just happened?
Right.
while Donald Trump is down, actually, I don't even think he's gotten up yet. I realized that my father-in-law is at the rally because we had gotten him VIP tickets. So he's sitting directly behind the president.
Oh, wow.
So we clicked that the president has been shot, that people behind him have been shot, and that my father-in-law is sitting there. So while I'm trying to chase down my father-in-law to make sure he's alive and okay, Darren is calling the family and like team members trying to see if the president's okay. Sure. He gets up, obviously, and we knew he was going to the hospital, but like he looked, okay, but like hysterical. Like everybody is hysterical.
Yeah.
Obviously,
so
but
you have love for him.
Yes.
You care about him.
A lot, yeah.
More than just our president. You have a space for him.
Him and his family have been better to me and my family than almost anyone I have met.
Now, coming from a family of immigrants, I want to ask your opinion on that because he obviously has a lot to say about immigrants and this country. So how do you feel about his stance on immigrants?
So it's almost easier for me because my parents were immigrants to say that like what my parents went through to get here, especially my dad, was absolute hell. Like my dad said goodbye to his father, who he never saw again, found out later that he died. The KGB had files on him and he wasn't allowed to see him. Like horrible, horrible stories. And it's like, that's what I know a lot of people go through to get here and to do it the right way. So if my parents had to come here and do it the right way, then maybe everyone else should as well. It doesn't mean I don't have so much empathy for people going through God knows what and knowing that this is the land of opportunity that can save them. So there's a middle ground, and I think Donald Trump gets a bad rap for the immigration thing, and I think a lot of people try to twist his words, and I mean, he's married to an immigrant. He has no actual issue with immigrants, but we have an immigration problem in the country because our border is out of control, and you want people to come here to the right way and to know how many people are here and who's here. I think that's a solid basic, and not everyone agrees on that.
Okay, well, I like what you're saying, but do you think it's not productive when all of a sudden the message kind of is that all immigrants are murderers and thieves and rapists?
And if he had said that, I would have hated it. But I never heard him say that. I heard the media tell me he said that. And thinking, I'm thinking to myself, what a horrible thing to say. But that's almost, I think, what created a lot of Trump supporters is reading the headline, then watching what he said and being like, oh, he actually didn't say that at all. He never said all immigrants. Had he said it, I would never have worked for him.
Don't you think he could have made it a little easier for himself and be like, Melania's an immigrant. Obviously, this is the land of opportunity.
He could have made a lot of things easier for himself and all of us, to speak on behalf of him. But that's not who he is. It's not how he talks.
I agree.
And I almost like the fact that he gives people the benefit of the doubt and assumes that they're going to do the research for themselves and realize what he was actually saying.
But what was that whole scandal about how Haitians are eating their dogs and all of that? I mean, I'm a dog lover. I like dogs more than I like people. If anyone was to eat my dog,
you wouldn't be happy.
I would kill them myself. Do you know what I'm saying?
Of course.
So, but I don't believe Haitians are eating dogs. And then, at the time, I'll never forget, I was set up on a blind date. This was last year sometime. And the guy was very big into politics. And he started giving me some story about how, oh yeah, Haitians aren't just eating our dogs. Here in Florida, they're eating all of our ducks. Have you seen the ducks?
I've heard about.
You've heard this, right?
Too, yeah.
I had to get up from the table and leave.
I get it.
I cannot listen to this ridiculous stuff. Now, I don't know any Haitians, okay? Not that there's anything wrong with them. I just have never come into contact with one. I haven't been to Haiti. I guess I've met some in foreign countries. I don't really know.
Yeah.
I don't think they eat dogs. If they do, that person is terrible, but I don't think the country believes in eating.
Right. Let me just say.
Don't the Chinese eat the dogs?
They do. Actually, they do.
Okay.
They kill and eat the dogs, yes. Although Donald Trump does hate China and talks about
Obviously,
that.
we know.
Yeah. But I also, let me just say, I know a lot of Haitians, none of which have eaten any dogs and who I love very much. Again, blown out of proportion, not the best thing to say, but it's because he said it during a debate and everyone was looking for headlines and they were like, let us show everyone that while he's debating, I believe it was Kamala Harris at the time.
Yeah.
I think that was a debate. When he's debating her, this is what he says. What happened was someone showed him a news story about this.
Right.
Donald Trump is very, very big on like what the people are saying. Like he loved, for someone at that level, I mean, before he was a candidate, but even now as president, he's always looking at what people are saying. Like he's very curious and he's very like in tune, like probably more so than me. I turn off social media.
Do you think it's out of an insecurity or he just likes to be in the know?
He loves to see like what people are saying.
Okay.
Like for someone like me, I do an interview and then I turn my phone off. Like he's very much into like knowing what people are saying and trying to get like an understanding of what people are thinking about different issues. Yeah. So someone had showed him that people were freaking out because some videos were going viral of people doing things that, God forbid, they're eating, whatever they were eating. It was horrible. So he mentioned that people are concerned that this was happening. I don't think it was as big of a story, and it actually didn't catch on. Maybe it didn't catch on because he brought it up, and so the other story was bigger than what could have been going on.
But and then I think Vance doubled down on that. I can't really remember, but
I did not.
Do you think Vance is going to last? I've seen some reports somewhere that
like during the 4 years.
Yeah, I mean,
yes,
okay.
yes.
So he's doing a good job in terms of
A,
what
he's doing a good job.
Okay.
B, people like try to make a bigger deal out of things and try to make Donald Trump look like this like crazy bad guy. Most people don't just get rid of a vice president in the middle of a term. Like it's not a thing that happens.
Okay.
So not gonna happen.
I've seen commentary in the last couple weeks or days, whatever it is, that Donald Trump is going to try and run for a third term. What are your thoughts on that?
A, I think it's so funny how much he talks about it, knowing that it bothers people. Like a lot of he says it at rallies all the time. Like we do a little trolling. That's kind of what he's known for. He knows it bothers people.
Right. So he likes to get under people's skin.
I don't think people realize how funny he is.
Oh, I think he's
hysterical.
I
don't know if he realizes that like most people don't have a sense of humor like his. I actually don't think he even realizes that he's.
Well, don't you think? And this is where we need to get into whether or not he's misunderstood or if he's evil, like people say, right? But I think people are very fearful that even if it's a joke, even if he's just saying it because he's not really thinking about it, but maybe if the country's so much better, why not? I mean, I don't know his reasonings for saying it, but I think they see it as a very dictator thing. And that like scares people that all of a sudden you're going to change all these rules. Like all of a sudden it's the Gulf of America.
Yeah.
And then it's changed on a map. And then, I mean, a lot of the things he says, I think are pretty funny. And they can be crude and they can be mean, but they're kind of funny, And I don't even think he means it to be that way. But if you read it that way, it comes out as being really mean.
I really don't think he realizes that most people don't have the sense of humor. Like people take things way more seriously than he does.
Yeah.
Like I've been around him where I'm just having to slow down and remind myself this is the former, current, future, whatever it is at that time, president of the United States, because he's like talking to a friend.
Right.
Like he's just having a good time, loves to laugh, loves to make other people laugh. So.
Does he think it's funny? Do you think that people make fun of him, like the way he speaks? I
mean, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery.
Right.
And I think.
But do you think he feels that?
Yeah, I don't like people always like to say he has, thin skin. I don't think he does.
Right.
I think he's just likes to troll as hard as people think they're trolling him.
Right.
Like he likes to have a good time. He likes to laugh. And I really don't think he realizes that most people he knows that they twist his words in the media, but I don't know if he realizes that the average person gets scared of the things that, are being reported and doesn't have the 20 seconds to actually find the real clip. Like to this day, I remember I watch The View every single day.
Okay.
I don't watch Republican news as much because I already know what they're saying. I want to watch the other side. So I watch The View every single day. And I remember up until the election, every single day they were saying Donald Trump said he's going to be a dictator on day one. Dictator on day one, dictator on day one. And I'm like, when did he say that? So I went to find the clip and he was in an interview and someone says, do you plan on being a dictator? And he laughs and goes, maybe just on day one. Like that was the joke.
Right.
And so if I see that, I'm like, oh, he's laughing at the fact that he's obviously not going to be a dictator. It's a good joke. Like maybe just on day one. But The View, whether they realize that they're doing it on purpose or they're just that scared that they can't think straight, was claiming that he had said from day one on, I'm going to be a dictator.
Right.
Like the fact is his jokes actually land if you get to listen to the joke, but the way they twist it, like the goal is to scare people. He doesn't mean to scare anyone. And he thinks, he was proven right because he won, but he thinks that the American people can read his jokes and the people in the media can't.
Right.
So he's never going to stop because it works. Like it works for him. He won again. People, people not like me, people who don't know him really love him.
Yeah.
So like, why would you change?